Okay, so this is gonna be really fun. This video game experiences document has been very crazy for me. So obviously I did start it off, very early on when it was assigned and all that, and it's just kept growing and growing over time. I just really wanted to dive deep into all of the experiences I've had, not just like the first definitive one, but all of them. And I tried my best to really quickly throw this together at the end, putting in images and trying to add some things. There's some things missing, but I don't think that's really important to look at. I think it's really important to look at like all the stuff that is really there, because I don't know. I feel really bad though still not having everything completely finished, even though it's still, it's really overkill. It's almost 8,000 words. It's 47 pages, but of course that's with images. I think it's originally like, it might be only like 15 pages originally. It might be 20 pages, even though still that's quite overkill. But I mean, overkill is my middle name. Same with perfection, and that's not a good mix of things. But I mean, I try my best, and I feel like I nailed it pretty well this time around, this term with my work, and I'm very proud of a lot of the work that I was able to get done. Very hard work, a lot of work this term for sure. So yeah, I'll really quickly go through this. Yeah. Flash games was a big thing for me when I was a kid. Like, I didn't have my own console. I didn't have like a Nintendo console or anything like that, like some of my friends had, or like a PlayStation 1 or anything like that. Never touched any of that kind of stuff really. I've only touched like a PS2 once, and it was at my friend's house. So yeah, I played some PC browser games, and these were some of the ones that I could remember, like Clear Vision. Clear Vision was I don't know. I try to talk about it as best as I can, but I don't want to go super deep because there's so many things that I wanted to cover. As you can see, there's so many things here, so many games that I actually reflected on. I surprised myself with how many there were that I had experiences with in the past, because I feel like in the end, overall, I'm actually still kind of relatively new to the industry when compared to like other people who have started really early on in their childhood with games and all that. So yeah, Clear Vision, Drift and Burn 365. This was a great racing game that I played. I think I talked about a little story where my grandpa came over and cleared the cookies on our computer, and I lost all my cars. I'm not sure if I have that here, but yeah, I lost all of my like save data because he cleared cookies or something like that, which is pretty funny. Phosphor Beta. This one was a very interesting first-person game. Yeah, some of these were running on a Shockwave. I think this one was. And then some of them were like a 3D Groove GX or something like that. So very interesting kind of technologies that I kind of learned about, because I didn't really know that stuff was even there back then. I knew Shockwave, but I didn't really know that the 3D Groove GFX or whatever that's called. But yeah, there's so much here, and I feel like it's honestly, it is kind of too much. I feel like, I don't know, I don't want to cover just one specific thing and dive really deep into it. I kind of want to go over as many things as I can, because I just like that there's more variety that way too. I'm not going to beat something to death by going into it too deep and talking about the polygons on the burger right here on the car of this SpongeBob 3D game, which is really cool. This was a really cool one where it was one of the first experiences where I kind of got to play around in a 3D space that wasn't originally a 3D like interactive game. It was a show, and so I thought it was really cool. I could go around the town and see it in my own kind of way, and that was a big thing with some of these other games too. That I didn't list some of the other ones, but that's one of the main ones for sure. Happy Wheels was a big one. Plasma Burst was an interesting one. I talk about how it was a 2D game, and I kind of like, you kind of learn to abuse sightlines and all that. But yeah, I want to get through this kind of fast. Stuntman. A full motion video game. I played some other full motion video games too, which were really cool. I think they're really interesting. Some first person ones. There are a lot of cool, crazy ones. Plummet. This is like an endless runner, basically, like one of my first endless runners, I guess. I'm not sure entirely, but yeah. And then I referenced Nicky Jakey here. He has a great video on Flash games, and then I kind of I just really quickly mentioned Blue Max vs. Flashpoint, which is a really cool project that is archiving all of the Flash games online, basically, and it's great. And then really quickly, let's just get through this really fast. My friends had consoles, of course, and they had games, so that's how I experienced some of those more advanced games, more advanced 3D games was through them. And then yeah, I talk about some of those. And then one of my first advanced from my memory is, and one that really sticks, is this game Project IGI 2. When I went to Columbia with my mom when I was like 6 or 7, I'm not entirely sure exactly when, but one of her friends had some PC games, and I remember this one very distinctly, and he actually gave us a copy of it, which was really cool. And I don't know what happened to that. It might have not. I remember it didn't work very well. I just couldn't get it to work. But getting old software like this, like this to work is actually a very difficult task. But yeah, that one's very interesting. Very interesting stuff. And then yeah, this was the big monumental moment for me, really, that I have some fond memories of, is when I got my own console for the first time. It was a PlayStation 3. I think it was, I keep thinking it was 2009, but I'm pretty sure it might have been 2010. Yeah, because I looked back at my trophy list, and that's how I kind of gauged when I got the console, because I could see like the date of when I got my first trophy. And I'm like, yeah, that seems about right, actually, when I got it around. I think I got it around like Christmas or like January or something like that. It might have been, I think it was January of 2010. I think that's what it was. But yeah, I got this bundle with Arkham Asylum, and this is a really interesting story. Arkham Asylum and Infamous. Arkham Asylum, for some reason, based on my memory, it was too hard for me. Maybe it was the stealth. And then I played Infamous, which Infamous gets quite difficult later on, but for some reason Infamous was way more accessible for me in the beginning. And I have this a fond memory right here that I talk about, where I can still picture myself sitting on the floor, and it's right next to me here on the ground. I can picture myself sitting on the carpet right here, looking up at the CRT in the corner of the room, and playing that specific level where you're platforming from pipe to pipe under the bridge during the second level of the game. So I thought that's a very cool thing to mention. And yeah, that game has a very, very, very special place in my heart, for sure. And then, of course, same with Uncharted 2. Uncharted 2, I don't know why. I talk about this in this little section right here. I don't know why this game why I was so excited for it. Yeah, I have no clue why. It might have been because I just looked up, maybe there's a lot of buzz around it, and somehow I heard about it, and I was looking at the IGN review a lot, I remember, and yeah, I was really hyped for it, and I loved it. And I don't even really know exactly why. I just loved it. It might have been the set pieces, it might have been the characters. I don't know. It just all grew on me so much, and I love it. It still also has a very special place in my heart. These two games right here were my two big monumental games that really stuck with me when I was a kid. There we go. Then I did play a lot of demos and trials, because I didn't really have a lot of games. We didn't buy a lot of games. I just had, a couple of them, and then I played a lot of demos and trials, and I remember playing Just Cause 2 quite a bit. Yeah, let's get through this really fast. Around Christmas of like next year, I got a lot more console games, a lot of Lego games. I played this Quantum of Solace game, which is ran on the Infinity Ward engine, which is very interesting. You can definitely tell that it's very Call of Duty centric, it seems. This is a very interesting game. There's so much to talk about here. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. I definitely went overkill, but I'm very proud, and I'm actually kind of excited I might turn this into a different kind of project a little bit. Maybe it's on a website and you scroll through this stuff, or maybe you see like every game, but then when you hover over the game, or maybe click on the game, then it'll show you the text that is explaining it a little bit more. Or it could be turned into a video. That's another thing I was thinking of too. But a lot of ideas, a lot of little time. So yeah, that's what I came up with. These are big ones. Modern Warfare 2 is a huge one for me. Driving San Francisco, great racing game. Midnight Club Los Angeles, another great racing game. Assassin's Creed. Toy Story 3, great sandbox with a great co-op split screen mode, which is very funny. But yeah, that took me by surprise. Far Cry 3. This I have an interesting story to talk about, and I'm at 10 minutes almost. But yeah, Far Cry 3. I have this great story of. So in the game, your map isn't filled. It doesn't show you everything on the map until you go to a tower, and then you activate that. You climb it and you activate it, and then it unlocks that grid of the map, that little square on the map where you were, where the tower is. It'll unlock that. And now you can see where that is. But later on, very early on, the game makes you travel into the unknown territory, and I remember being terrified Dude, I didn't even finish this. Oh my gosh. But I was terrified of man, I must have been all over the place to not finish this. But yeah, I was terrified that I was just venturing out. It was dark. I was driving out on the beach, and I was just terrified of what was like around the next corner. And then like I run into enemies, and it's just so scary because there's nothing on your map. Your map is completely clean. There's nothing. You have no idea what's ahead of you. So that was very scary. But yeah, there's so much here I wanted to talk about and go deep into. But thankfully, I still talked a little bit about it just to give you a nice little idea of, like, Mercenaries 2 is a big open world game for me. Burnout Paradise, great racing game for me. I think it was one of my first racing games, and it was great. I loved it. I didn't get to some of these just because these are big games. Skate 3, oof, so good. I love Skate. I remember playing the Skate 1 demo, and then the Skate 2 game I think I might have played the demo of that one too, but then I got 2, then I got 3. I think I might have gotten 1 too. But yeah, 2 was great. 3 might have been a little bit better. I don't know. It's a little hard, but yeah. PlayStation Home. This is a very interesting one. You might not know about this, but it was like a social network game, kind of, I guess, where it's like Second Life, basically. It's like a PlayStation Second Life. That was a very interesting experience for me. I don't have too many specific memories from it. Maybe talking to people and just feeling nervous and stuff like that, and just being kind of weirded out. But yeah, and then we get to me getting into PC gaming when I started seeing games like Gary's Mod being played, and I was like, whoa, what is that? How do I play that? Oh, it's on Steam? What is that? You can play like crazy PC games on there? So I started getting into that. I think Stanley Parable was my first ever purchase on Steam, and I have the date, of course, because Steam lets you look at all that. November 19th, 2013. Yeah, that was quite an experience. Same with Gary's Mod. The main thing with Gary's Mod is that I always wanted to play with my friends. I wanted to play multiplayer games with my friends and have fun and with different game modes and stuff like that, because I always saw that on YouTube with YouTubers. And so I finally got that opportunity with Gary's Mod and like Prop Hunt, for example. So that was a lot of fun. Electronic Superjoy, a little platformer game. This is my 3rd purchase on Steam. Hollow Miami, my 4th purchase on Steam, and I have a very, very funny memory of playing it. So I would play it. I had a Chromebook, and I got it to run Linux through some stuff that I don't remember anymore. It's been a while. But I would run Linux on the Chromebook, and then I would get Steam on there, and I would try to play like Counter-Strike. Like Global Offensive barely worked. If there was a smoke on screen or a Molotov, there were too many effects going on. The frame rate would drop to like 10 FPS. But Hollow Miami, that ran beautifully, and I would play it on the school bus with a wireless mouse, and just, yeah, it was so much fun. And then Wreckfest, this was interesting. It was kind of a sneak peek 2.0 demo, like early tech demo kind of thing, where they were showing like their destruction in their cars and stuff like that. And I thought that was really cool. It was a very fun little playground to play around in. Portal, I don't know why I mentioned this, because I didn't really play it. It was one of my first purchases. That's probably why. I don't have that window open anymore, but yeah. Yeah, so much to talk about. There's so much I couldn't get to some of these more important things, kind of like PlanetSide 2. This was my first. I remember getting my gaming PC, my dedicated gaming PC, and then waking up early the day after to play PlanetSide 2 before school started. It was awesome, dude. I remember my mom coming in, and she was like checking it out, and I was showing her, and I felt so happy. It was good times, man. And then DayZ, that was an interesting one. DayZ was just kind of a fad at that point, I guess. You know, it was trendy. CSGO, I didn't really get into it too much, but I did get into it a lot later. I have around 800 hours almost in that. It's my most played game on Steam. GTA 5, that was another one I was looking forward to a lot, because I played it on PS3. And I was very excited to get on PC and check that out. PUBG was another big one that I went into. PUBG was probably my second most competitive multiplayer game that I played very seriously, or quite seriously. I have very good memories of that, yeah. Even though it was all within the span of a year. And then, yeah, that's the conclusion for that. Geez, 15 minutes. There's so much to talk about, but I did my best to get through it pretty fast. So, yeah, hopefully that's enjoyable to kind of learn about if you have the time. Obviously, just skim through these if you don't want to take your time listening to me ramble about this stuff, because it's just, that's what it really is. This is what this invoked, I feel like, is talking about your video game experiences, and I really let loose with this. 47 pages, almost 8,000 words. So yeah, thank you very much.